Welcome to my apiary. It's Monday, August 14th, 2023. The busy days wear out my body, and the coming busy days wear out my mind because there's so many moving parts here, and I need to prioritize things. I can't do everything at once, and sometimes, that's the part that catches up to me. Queen rearing, for example. I can graft queens. I could graft thousands of queens in a week, in a month. I could graft thousands of queens. That's not a problem. Well, I'm dealing with the aftermath now. I've got nukes. I've got mating nukes that have to be checked still. I have mating nukes that need to be taken apart because they didn't mate and resources used elsewhere. I have mating nukes that did mate, which I need to either use the queens elsewhere, maybe make some late season splits here, which I think I'll do some, or I need to boost those nukes to make them, get them grown up and prepare them for winter. The grafting of the queens is the easy part. It doesn't take much time and effort. Certainly not much, many, man hours, as they say. So it's the tail end of this. If you're selling virgins, that's one thing. If you're selling queen cells, that's super easy. I could sell thousands of queen cells. It's not a problem at all. If you're trying to sell mated queens or use mated queens, that's where the real time-consuming and labor-intensive kind of work comes in, and equipment-intensive too. I'm running out of nuke boxes and stuff that I want to use for these. So that's my complaining. Not really complaining. That's just what I'm up against. And so the 14th of August, I'm also up against. Now I gotta pull honey, and that pull honey I have to extract. So, one thing leads to another. I pull honey, I have to feed. You pull the honey off, and you have to feed them. So this is a time of year I could really use a couple more bodies around here, but I don't really want to hire. And so this is kind of the part of the year that determines how many colonies that I want to run or that I can run, because you start getting behind and things start to falter. You don't get your treatments on, you don't get your feeds on, you don't get things prepared for winter, and then a lot of your bees die in the winter. So that kind of equalizes how many colonies you can safely run in your operation. In the wintertime, you think I could run 10,000 colonies because they're all in the shed and they're not using any of my time. So these are just the things, and August is one of those things. It gets very busy. So I'm going to go over and look at some of these nukes, see if they're laying. And I have to start disbanding the zombies too. And I was going to just give them to my buddy, but I need that resource for my little mating nukes that I've made. So he might just get queens. I talked to him and I said, "You want these caged queens?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll take those." So, I think I'm going to be caging those queens up, and we'll just give him a box of queens. So let's get at it. Hope you enjoy this. Okay, these are R9s, and significance of R9 is twofold, really. It's the last round of grafting that I did this summer, and that's not a correct statement because I didn't do this grafting round. Carrie Martindale did. So these are really special queens to me. I was so thankful that she took the time to do a graft with me. And they are ready to be checked for laying. And if you remember, these nukes here were made up from my queenless cell builder. And so this is going to be interesting to me because it's something a little different I haven't done before. I have had a virgin get loose in my queenless cell builder, so I guess I've done it inadvertently. And this is my spidey sense that this says that this is not really very good. Part of my problem is I've had to introduce so much foundation into my nukes. But they don't have, well, they've started to draw, right, which is great. But you see how that wax is not white? This is repurposed wax. So they're stripping it off of the foundation, they're getting it from elsewhere, and they're building the comb that they want. I see neither queen nor eggs on that frame. That's pollen. Pollen, nectar, and honey. I see pollen pants, so there's pollen coming in from somewhere. I should have my little Mike Berry flashlight. See, they're just barely due to be checked for laying, so I don't expect a whole whack of brood here. If I could see eggs, that would be all I would truly expect. They have a few days left before they get culled out. So I'm not seeing any laying in there. I really would expect to. So this is, I put these together a little differently. Because what I did was I actually used queen cells. So here's the cell cup, and I can see that that emerged properly. It's a nice round hole in the end. And I'm sure I put that, well, I just put that in the middle of the cluster. Normally you put a cell on brood so they keep it warm. But there was a pretty good cluster here, and it wasn't particularly cold days. But I don't think this one worked. But there was no brood. So you can't put a cell on brood in a queenless hive. Nope. Nothing going on here. Okay, it's not quite time yet to call it. So I need to put that back together, let them ride for a little bit. I'll check the next one. And again, this is kind of something new for me, so maybe these won't work out at all. This one, ooh. This one I think was probably the strongest, because it was in the position that the bees would have drifted to the most. And it absolutely is. They've been making honey. Oh dear. I should probably have taken a frame of zombie brood and put it in each of these to anchor the bees and give them some rejuvenation over time as that brood emerged. I need my lifter device, but it's way over there. Try to do it the old-fashioned way. See, a queenless hive will still make honey. That's the crazy thing. They'll make all kinds of honey and bring pollen. Oh, nothing else. They've made me a box of honey. That's money in the bank. Right. Okay. Yeah. See, this was foundation when I put that in there. Look at that. Beautiful. And there's larvae in it on this side. So that's really all I need to know here, other than they're plugged out. Wow. Some comb would really do them a lot of good. The queen is fighting back. She's pushing that back so she can lay. This is mostly laid up through here. And they've knocked that cell right down there. Or cell cup, I should say. So there's sealed brood on the next one. Alright. Well, they'll sit for the time being. We're batting 500 on these. Hopefully we can get to 750 on the next one. These Chinese hive tools, I just hate them. I really, really hate them. They're sharp. They bend really easily. I don't think they're heat treated. They're just a piece of stainless. And the edges are really sharp. I cut my hand really bad the other day on one of these. It slipped in my hand a little bit as I was working. It's just, you know, But it's all you can get, right? Just like so many things in the world, the Chinese have taken over, driven everybody out of business, and forced us to use inferior equipment. I'm not happy about that at all. This one also doesn't look like it really worked out. Lots of foundation, an empty story frame even. Boy, it's desperate. This looks like a wax moth cocoon. That can happen. Yeah, there's nothing going on here. Now this one, I don't know, you can see they've torn it down the side, but it does look like it emerged normally on the end. So I think that was okay. Sometimes, you know, you check it and then they've got the side torn out of the cell, but the end is still intact. Oh look, we've got sealed brood. Okay, well this is it has been as successful as possible. No comb and no nectar flow. All right. So again, some of these might be caged up and introduced to late season splits, because growing up from a weak nuke is difficult at this stage of the game. We'll see what to do with those. So we have check mark here, and over on that one I see an 8 that has no check mark, so I'll check it now because they're ready to be decommissioned if they aren't laying yet. Come on, be nice, be nice. Boy, there's a lot of wax moth this year. I don't usually see wax moth inside any of my nukes or hives. They're pretty bad this year. Lots of pollen, nectar, honey. And I see eggs. They build best they can. They've recycled the wax. They've stripped the wax off of this portion and built this meager comb here. And she's laid eggs in it. So she definitely needs more comb, or she needs to be caged and introduced to a more vigorous colony. Few eggs there. She definitely needs space. But I can't do anything for her right now. I didn't even see her. She should be marked. Okay, check mark on that one. You may notice the entrances. I've got like the entrance that's fully open. I've got that turned right down so that just about one bee can get in there. There's a lot of yellow jacket and hornet pressure right now. So I need to give them a small entrance they can defend. Here's an R7. This is definitely time to decommission the 7s. But I see milk brood. So she's just saved her life. She just saved her life. There's another 7 with no mark. I didn't even start my smoker today. I might regret that, but yeah, see? There she's laying just fine. She's just a late starter, that's all. That's okay. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with her. So this one, I think I've left half a mark here, and that tells me that it was a laying queen, but I took her. A friend showed up and needed a queen, so I caged that one up for him. See, they're a little bit testy now. So there should be a little bit of brood in here I can use. Yeah, see, I took that queen, and now you can see queen cells. Oh, she just stung me in the finger. Don't do that. See, now you're dead. You know, my finger hurts. Okay, so it really hurts the finger. People ask, you know, I say, well, it really hurts. They say, oh, I thought you'd be used to it. Well, I'm accustomed to it, but it still hurts. So I just want to take these cells out. That one's capped even. See, time goes on so fast, I didn't realize they'd have time to cap a cell. Obviously they did. I'll shake these off. See, that's a beautiful frame of brood on a nice, fresh frame. No cells that I need to cut. So you got a good queen. She was doing her job really well. Here's some. You don't have to dig, you can just poke them with your finger. Okay, so this is a resource. There's bees and brood here. It's somebody commenting on my video recently. He was, I don't know, some people I think they need to relax a bit. They're gonna have a heart attack or something. But anyway, this person was going on and on. One of these warriors that won't go by their real name, you know. A bit of a coward, I guess. And giving me all kinds of crap about how I gotta keep absolute detailed records on every colony. Well, increase the overhead, right? There's lots of pollen here. You know, and whoever it was going to say the guy, but I don't even know who it was. Could be a guy, could be any one of a number of different genders, I suppose. But got a point. You know, you need to keep relevant data so that you know what's going on, and that's a big challenge. It's a big challenge when you don't have that data, but it's also a big challenge to keep all that data. So it's difficult to, you know, you have to determine what data is relevant, in my mind. And I agree that I don't keep enough records sometimes. Sometimes I look at something and think, what in the world went on there, you know? But that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Alright, so this one definitely deserves the X. Now, I put a question mark, I put a check mark and a question mark here. And this is one of those things, I don't know why, but that tells me that I should have a look at this. Oh my goodness. It gets so packed out. Oh, they're stingy too. Holy. Maybe I do need that smoker. I think I'm gonna regret this without a smoker. Well, I think maybe I saw a whole bunch of nice capped brood and no eggs. And I didn't see eggs there, but I did see very young larvae at the bottom. So she definitely laid that since I was here last. I haven't been here in a long time. I've been just super busy. So I'll take that question mark off. Here's a sad story. I transferred these nukes, and they were pretty good nukes, you know. Transferred them into these 6s. And the hornets cleaned it out on me. Geez, 3 times I missed her. The hornets came in here and cleaned it out. So it's gone. There's nothing in here but comb, which is comb. You know, I can use that. I can maybe share that among some of those at the other end. It always feels good to kill a hornet. And look who else has moved in. Wax moths. Oh, there's a queen's right up here. Okay, you need to go down there. I'm putting that up, and that bee's got a nice red mark on her back. Okay, all I wanted to do was check, see if they need any drawn comb, because I have some. I don't think they do. They seem to be holding their own. Hopefully they're not being invaded. This one was a little bit smaller as well, and I put them back in a 6-frame or in a 4-frame box because they were getting picked on. 'Tis the season, but I see they've got a reasonable amount of drawn comb. They just need to fill it out. And not sure what's happening here. She's laying. That brood going here. Maybe they need to be fed. Can't really feed them with honey on the hives. There's the queen. It's a little, not very big. A few eggs there. She needs to step up her game. I've got a 9 here. And again, it's not time to decommission the 9s, but it is time to check them. They seem to be really full. I think they probably picked up a lot of drift since I've obviously moved hives away from here. Okay, I might have to get that smoker. This one's a little bit wild. It's kind of a challenge, you know. One of those challenges that you take on. Try to work without a net. But it's the time of year, they're starting to get a little more crazy. Yeah, she's laying. That's all I need. This could go in a 6-frame box. That's what I'm going to do. Put that back on. I'm going to give them a check mark, but I'm also going to give them a T for transfer, because they big. There's a 9 there as well. I could transfer that now. There's a box right here. Now this one didn't have much to go on. There's a I made a bunch like this. 1 frame of brood and 3 frames of foundation. It's kind of crazy. So maybe I should use some of that comb that's over there. They've drawn that from nothing, and half honey and half pollen, but you know, there's nothing on that side. Nothing else to make you a few frames of honey. That's value. So there we go. She's laying like a trooper. Doing really well. Look at that. Alright, so put that back in. I'm going to get one of those frames of comb that I took out over there. Slide that right inside that frame of honey. Let her resume her duties. I need some foamies for my 4s. I had a friend over here, it was a couple of years ago, and he didn't visit very often. I think it was the first time he'd been here. He was saying, oh, I need a bunch of foamies for 4s. And I said, foamies for 4s? I got a whack of those and I never use them. Here, I gave them all to him, and now I want them. at least some of them. So I'll have to either talk to them or make some. There's no brood on that frame, so I could take that out, shake the bees off, and give them one of those frames of comb, which may very well be what I do. And that's laid up with eggs, so she's doing a good job. See what's on this one. If it's just honey, then I'll give them a frame of comb as well in place of that. Then don't get stuck in there. There's cap brood on that. So that's all I need to know there. And we'll just replace that with comb. And I always feel that this is a good example of resource management, resource usage, or the value of every resource. We so often put ultimate importance on the colony, the bee, the queen, and there's nothing valuable outside of that. Well, I don't think that's the right way to think, because even a dead hive, even a queenless hive, is going to have bees that you can boost populations elsewhere, and pollen, and may have brood, and nothing else drawn comb, right? I need drawn comb, obviously, especially here. Holy smokes, this one is so weak. I need these queens to lay hard. Cell of some kind here, but there's nothing in it. Okay, there's just the beginning of milk brood there. Alright, so she'll get, let's see, there's nothing on this frame. There's a little bit of pollen, so I'll shake those off. And there's this one frame, and this one has nothing much, and I can put 3 frames of comb in here. It's a little bit of feed and a little bit of pollen on that one. So there's money in the bank for them. That's value. These combs are a little bit on the darker side, but they're perfectly fine, I'm sure. Alright, so she's laying. That one's got a check mark. That's an R8. I wonder if I should mark this one for transfer. You know what? I'll leave that for now. If I'm transferring, I can check it. It's an R9, and also same kind of thing, very weak. Lack of drawn comb. Just see if she's laying. They're making honey anyway. It's always nice when they build out that foundation for you, at least, eh? And this one, can't quite see evidence of laying yet. Except there, I see eggs and just a little bit of milk brood. Alright, so she will be also a good candidate for that last frame of comb that I recovered. So there's nothing on here. There's some honey, but this one's empty. There's not a very nice comb, but beggars can't be choosers. They'll have to do some cleanup on that one. Now, since this is only honey, I'm going to move that so the honey is on the outside and the foundation is on the inside. Help encourage them a little more to get on it. Which they don't have much resource to get on it. I think there is a tiny flow still. Certainly not much. Same thing. One frame of brood and foundation. But these may not be the queens that winter in here. These may be the ones that I take and make a late split. Until such time, I just want to see, there's eggs there. I just want to check them, see what I've got. And, you know, if I have drawn comb, I'll boost them. And then I can make my decision what to do. Boy, Carrie, you're doing good. I don't know that I've found any R9s that haven't been laying. Well, there's that one out of the cell builder, but that was different. So this is also an R9. I'll show you something here that I just I found interesting as I opened it. These R9s are grafted from a Kona queen, and typically Kona queens are nice and dark. And look at these bees. These bees are yellow. They're yellow-orange bees, and there's baby black bees in here too. So that's kind of weird. There's eggs. Okay, that's all I need. There's eggs there. So I guess it's kind of like people, you know. Maybe yellow is like red here. Maybe it's recessive. All right. So save for that one out of the cell builder. That's 100% so far. Let's take a quick gander in these two. These are among the hives that when I made that mistake, I did my rehoming reset thing in the building, but I made a mistake and I brought these out after one night instead of leaving them for 2. And they depopulated. I had almost no bees left. So I ended up taking some dead outs and I went to my out yard and got some bulk bees in a box, and I just shook bees on the ground in front and look. Now, the question really is, did those foreign bees kill my queen? I don't think they would, but, you know, we'll see. Look, I don't think they did. Yeah, they're fine. They're doing good. This one didn't get as many. The bees, they always prefer a particular location, you know. They will go to a different, but the vast majority of the bees seem to want to go to the same place. And it's hard to understand all of those cues that they use to decide where to go. Whoa, I'm not seeing any laying. Maybe that queen is no more. Yeah, there's brood there. This is the original frame. Yeah, she's alright. She's alright. Definitely could use a couple more frames of comb. So what I really need to do here today is check my 8s and 9s, which this row is mostly 8s. I started checking, those 2 are laying. Oh, lots of bees. That's always a good sign. So the Pro Nuke, I ran out of equipment, so I had to start using Pro Nukes. It's got that little tab that holds that frame from sliding in transport. So I want to hop that over that tab. I think I can pull this middle frame. It's kind of a new frame. It's not built out as heavy. Let's see. They've built it out with some recycled wax. And it is time. If the 8s aren't laying, then they need to go. And again, to offer that resource to another colony. So we've got some that are weak. The ones that didn't mate, then they offer bees and drawn comb and, you know, honey resource. That's just a big fat feed frame to the weaker ones. So it all works out. But I think No, I don't think so. So I don't need to mark, talk about record keeping. At this stage of the game, I don't need to mark a mating nuke that isn't laying. Just the lack of a mark is what I need, because I haven't put a check mark. It's an 8, it's got nothing. Because all of my mating nukes, certainly all of my 8s, are done. They're ready to be decommissioned if they're not laying. No. There's eggs there. There's eggs there. Some of these are really filling out nicely. When I set these up for mating, I just use the Pro Nukes, and then now once they're mated and laying, then they'll transfer down into here. Of course, adding another frame, and that's where they'll live until next spring. They'll winter in there. Yeah, I see eggs, and I see a nice big black queen right there with a nice red dot on her back. A lipstick red queen. These are looking pretty healthy too. This one is a little less populous. That's all honey. See, this was a pre-waxed frame. And you can see that they've drawn out, used the wax that I provided, and they've drawn that to the extent of the available wax. I'm going to turn that around when I put it back in, that is. Problem with the lifter is I can't see in the comb on the other side. So there's eggs and milk brood in here. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to put the honey side of this on the outside now, the empty side on the inside, so maybe that queen will find it a little more quickly and lay it up. Checking mating nukes is one of my favorite jobs. It's just like Christmas morning, every one of them. But it is kind of hard on my back. This one's a little less populated, but it has a full 5 frames of drawn comb, so that'll serve them well if they in fact have a mated queen, which they do. Look at the sealed brood. Oh yeah, eggs everywhere. And wax moth. Why is there a wax moth in a populated? Oh, there's a hornet. A hornet got caught in the wax moth web and died. Another good one. Come on, bees, you need to grow up real fast. Keep those wax moths out. When they stick the cover down, it's kind of telling. They've been busy at something. They're not weak. Come on. You need a foamy in there. Oh my goodness. This, is this a queenless? I don't think this is queenless. I think it's crazy. Strong. Let's see. See, the Pro Nuke has got too much space on the side, but one nice thing is you can pull. Look at that sealed brood right there. Now I just hope I didn't mash the queen just doing that. Holy smokes. That's incredible. That's like, gets 2 or 3 check marks, I think. Wow. Guess I better get out here and start transferring these into the 6s. That's a little more normal. See, they built this comb on the side. That's a symptom of a pro nuke being too big. I like that they're tapered because they nest nicely, but then you get this going on. Eggs in that, and sealed brood on the next one. Wow, these really need to be transferred. I should mark that on this one here. T. This one too. Check mark and T. Pretty much are going to be transferred, but I just gotta get on it. Another one that's stuck down. Wow. You know, I can't even check that. I'm going to leave that for when I transfer it. We can check it. Okay, there's a dozen, not quite a dozen, there's 11 R9s here. Again, that's Carrie's graft. And they were very, very weak. They were just one framers. And not only one framers, no comb, just foundation. I just have to see if they're laying. And we can do something with them. I see sealed brood there. Yeah, lots of laying going on. Very nice. Very, very nice. There's the queen. Nice black Kona style queen. Weak nukes are so much easier to check. It's not really the objective, is it? So there's the queen and there's a whole bunch of eggs. So there's another check mark. So I have yet, except for that one, to find an R9 that's not laying. Magic touch, Carrie. Magic touch. Invite her over more often. Come over for the day and do all my grafting for the season. There's eggs in that one too. Very nice. Eggs in that one. This one is a little more agitated. But there are also eggs there. I like that new comb, you know. When they draw a comb on that black foundation and she lays it up, you can see those eggs in an instant as I have demonstrated there. You ever play a video game? You ever play a video game that gets kind of challenging and then you do a little bit of Google search and you find the cheat codes? You find the cheat codes and that's fun for the next hour. And there's not a challenge anymore. It's kind of the way I'm feeling. Carrie is a cheat code. I didn't mean to say I'm not having fun. I'm having lots of fun. Because it's kind of like, you know, you open Christmas gifts and you don't know. And there's the big queen. There's a whole bunch of pollen and a bunch of eggs. You know, you open Christmas gifts, you don't really know what's inside. And this is kind of Schrodinger's bees, you know. You don't know if it's laying or not. And so you don't know what's inside. But when this starts to happen, you know that you're going to absolutely love what's inside. You know that the gift is exactly what you wanted. And that's what's going on. There's no question of getting a lump of coal or anything. No lumps of coal yet. And I don't expect 100% because really Carrie didn't have a whole lot to do with that, I think. Oh, look at that. Sealed brood already. She is a diamond. Gold star, girl. Gold star. Yep. It's just mating success. Like my July mating success has always been spectacular.
very, very good. Very high. Wow, this is really depleted. Yellow bees. There's eggs though. There's multiples in the cells. Not just two either. Lots and lots. It's not good. And I don't see the queen. And we'll have to wait another few days for these to get capped so we can tell what they are. I'll put a question mark on that. That's eggs. And one per cell, I should note. And the last one is here. Oh, they didn't even have the lid glued down. What's going on here? I do see a couple eggs, so maybe they're just barely starting up. Okay, I'll have to question mark that one too. This one says 21. The story here was I had mercy on this queen. Oh, it's a couple of weeks ago. Working over there, I found a little ball of bees on the ground. And one thing I've learned is you see a ball of bees on the ground, there's probably going to be a queen in the middle of it. So, I gathered her up, made a little nuke. Well, I ended up with one more nuke than I needed for the R9, the round 9. Pinched a bee on my finger. Queens. Oh, they're just pounding me here. Holy cow. No reason for these to jump all over me like that. Or yellow bees. Okay, she's got a sealed brood there already. So she is a big black white mark queen. So she is a 23. No, she's not a 23. What am I saying? She's a 21 queen. So I don't know. She's more of a zombie than anything. So I might let my buddy have that one too. Just wanted to see if she survived. And she did. Okay, I'll come back to this one that I marked to transfer. I found a couple of frames of comb I can use. I swore I wouldn't winter these again, but here I go. I'm like a junkie with those things. All right. I always like to just take a quick look for the queen so I know, I made a cell there. I know if I see her, then I know she's safe wherever I put her. She's laying nicely. There's some sealed brood there even. And that's completely honey. I had drawn comb, I would take that and give them an empty frame. You see what value that drawn comb is, you know, almost every time I open my mouth, I'll say, well, I would do this, but I have no drawn comb.